Hold on. So glad you guys could join us.
There we go.
There we go.
Awesome. Hello. Hi.
Hey,
How are you doing?
Ross. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Good morning, or well, good afternoon for
I
you, I
know.
guess.
You're
Yeah,
the
I
start
know.
of your day.
I know, it's so strange. The sun is just kind of coming up here. It's the
I
end
know.
of the day with you guys.
I know.
It's
Fun.
always a bit of a mind. It's always a bit of a mess with the
I know.
mind. But no worries. How are you?
Connect and hang out and
Yeah.
chit chat some here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How are you doing? How are things?
Things are amazing, and we're all looking forward to learning a little bit more about Calecim, and we're so excited to be, joined by you here.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to share because I know there's been, so many of the community have been really excited to kind of after the video that you did with the multi-action cream. I've seen so many of them kind of saying, I want to learn more about the technology, the rest of the range. So yeah, it's been a long time in the making. So I'm glad we've got the opportunity.
There's one thing that everyone knows about me is I'm such a science nerd with skincare. So
Good.
I love the technology and the science.
So
good, love it. Super excited.
Good.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm glad to hear it. Well, I've got everything ready here to explain and go through, so we can go through everything sort of bit by bit. So where do you want to start? Should we start with the kind of the technology, the history, and then go on to the products?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Let's kind of do a background, science, technology, because that's kind of it's so amazing with Calecim. The technology, the science is so amazing. Let's kind of cover that, and then we can go through each product too.
Perfect. Yeah, I think you're right. It's always good to, particularly when you're looking at sort of medical grade skincare, you always want to start off with understanding what the backstory is, whether it's Calecim or any other brand. You want to understand, okay, well, where has that technology come from? What's the kind of history behind it all? Because I think knowing that, and for everybody here that's kind of learning about Calecim for the first time, knowing that it provides for you that greater degree of sort of comfort and understanding that this technology is sort of the real deal, and it's come from a really good place in terms of where it started to where we are now. So yeah, where did Calecim start? So essentially, Calecim itself started way back. Actually, the history, the birth of it all started in the early 2000s. So originally, our technology wasn't anything to do with actual aesthetic skincare. It was actually to do with medical skincare. So we were using our technology and researching into using stem cell technology for the purposes of wound care, actually. So treating things like chronic diabetic foot ulcers and looking at burn patient victims and how we can sort of treat those. And it was basically from the development of using that technology for treating chronic wounds and things like that we kind of moved into this space. Our chief scientific officer, so his name is Professor Phan Thanh Tang, and he is a stem cell scientist. He's a Vietnamese doctor. And he found this technology way back in the early 2000s and essentially started using it for wound care. And then kind of as we developed, we thought, well, if this is doing amazing things for wound care, it's helping to close diabetic wounds, chronic wounds, it's helping with burn patient victims, what's it going to do for helping to treat things like post-procedure care, after laser treatments? What can we do after a laser treatment to reduce redness and downtime and things like that? And that's kind of where the birth came from and where we kind of started and where we've come to now, and developing that technology from there. But I think it's really important to know that, because like I said, that sort of validity, credibility for everybody listening, for you to be like, okay, I feel comfortable and confident in this technology, is certainly important to know as a starting point.
Yeah, definitely. You guys have such an interesting technology. Speaking of, the science and the technology that goes into all your products is so interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when we sort of first started right at Calecim, originally we were just selling directly to medical professionals, and that was it, because we wanted to make sure that we were working with some of the top dermatologists and medical professionals around the world, making sure that we kind of got their backing and their understanding that this technology is the real deal. So somebody who's the chairman of our medical advisory board, Dr. Mitchell Goldman, he's actually based down in San Diego. He's voted #1 dermatologist the last 2 years in the United States. And so he's been a big proponent of ours over the last couple of years. And then we sort of then developed when COVID hit and thought, right, well, we've got to start selling these products, making it available for everyone. Yeah. So we started making it available online as well. So it's been a fun journey to get to where we are now, for sure.
Well, you reach a lot of people doing it that way too. So
yeah.
It's been
Yeah, exactly, yeah. For sure. It's definitely been an exciting journey to get to where we are now. And the product development, our latest product, the advanced hair system, is just super exciting. We'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah. But then also on top of that, new products that we've got coming out, really, really exciting as well. So yeah, sure. It's definitely an exciting time for sure.
Do you want to talk about? I kind of have some notes here that I want to go through with you. Do you want to go through kind of the what is it? The PTT6.
PTT6. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, PTT6 is essentially it's the name of our active ingredient, right? That goes into every single one of our products. Now, what does that actually stand for? So PTT6 stands for the initials of the guy I just mentioned earlier on, Professor Van Twantang. So PTT is his initials. So we thought he came up with the technology. So why don't we go ahead and name it after him? The 6 that we use is that when we started with this technology, obviously you have to go through a few different sort of iterations to get to what you want to use in cosmetic products. And so it's the 6th iteration that we've gone through. And so that's why we've named it PTT6. Now, what exactly is PTT6? So PTT6 is essentially a cultured media that is derived from umbilical cord lining stem cells. Okay, so whenever you're looking at any kind of stem cell based product, exosomal based product, it's all about understanding what that source is. Where are you getting that stem cell from? Where are you getting that exosome from? Where is it derived from? Okay, so we're using umbilical cord lining stem cells. Now, why is that important? Why are they effective? Essentially, without going into too much science, because I could talk about this, we could sit here all morning for me and to go through it. It's without going into too much detail. Essentially, there's 2 key factors that make PTT stand out versus a variety of other different types of stem cell technologies out there. One is that you've got the yield component. So when you look at a stem cell source, there's a variety of different types of yields you can get, whether you're using umbilical cord, adipose fat, Wharton's jelly, skin, whatever it is you're using. And with umbilical cord lining, the yield is the highest yield you get out of any source. You get 12 billion stem cells at first source. So that's a lot. There's a lot to work with. Yeah. And what does that actually translate into? Because I think a lot of the time when we kind of just say, oh, we've got all these different stem cells, it's important to know what that translates into the end product. So what that translates into is a greater variety and a greater yield of the end product, which contains the proteins. What we want from a stem cell is not really the stem cell. It's what the stem cell secretes and releases, right? And that's your growth factors, that's your exosomes, that's your cytokines, that's your peptides. That's what you want. And with that greater yield, we've got a greater variety and a greater yield of those end messaging signals that encourage our skin, our hair, our bones, our joints, our muscles, everything to rejuvenate and regenerate in an effective manner, essentially. So that we've got that first component is the yields. The second thing is the purity. And what I mean by the purity is when you get a stem cell source, depending on what source you're getting it from, it might be adult, it might be a youthful source, and that's going to impact how pure and effective that stem cell active is going to be. Right. I mean, the way to think of it, right, is, for anybody listening that's got any kids, nieces, nephews, think back to when you were younger. Kids, let's say kids playing sport, they can play 4, 5, 6 games of sport a week and it just doesn't bother them. They just get up and they're just like, yep, I'm fine. I can carry on and I'm no worries whatsoever. I still play sport and I was like that when I was a kid and I'm in my 30s now. I play one match, right? And I'm literally in agony for like a month and I'm just rolling out of bed. I cannot move. And that's just because I'm getting older and there's not as many stem cells in my body to rejuvenate and regenerate the cells around it. And so that translates into skincare. When you're getting a younger source, it's going to be more effective because it's going to be more pure and it's going to be more effective for rejuvenation.
Guys, you got
regeneration purposes.
from younger Okay.
Yeah, so we're using an umbilical cord lining, so it's literally a matter of a few hours old
Right.
that we're getting our
Oh,
source.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Now the next thing I should probably address here, a lot of people, when I say that, everybody then thinks, okay, where are you getting these stem cells from? What's going on here? I feel like there's a stigma with stem cell based companies, not just ours, but everybody's always kind of got this like, where are you getting these from? It's kind of a bit like everyone just assumes you're like an evil corporation or something like that. So we're not, and no, nobody really is. So so yeah, essentially what we use is we use umbilical cord lining stem cells, but they aren't derived from humans. The reason we don't use human is because everywhere in the world, except the USA, Hong Kong, Japan, it's illegal. So we had to get one that's consistent across the board around the world. So we thought, okay, we'll get a source from a mammal, because it doesn't matter, as long as you're getting it from a mammal and you're using a mammalian umbilical cord lining, that what those messaging signals secreted from stem cells are going to be the same, regardless of whether you're using a mammal, a human, a monkey, a tiger, whatever. So we use red deer umbilical cord lining. We chose red deer for a sort of process of elimination and landed on using red deer as our source. But there's no harm that comes to the red deer. We're not recreating like the opening scene of Bambi every 10 minutes or something like that. Essentially, the red deer, they give birth, and they gave birth, and then the umbilical cord would just be medical waste, and we just take that away and go and do our work in the lab.
Right.
So everything is ethical. Another cool fact is it's all very sustainable. So I think my favorite fact, beyond the yield and the purity, is every single product that's ever been made by Calecim, from when we started in 2016 in Singapore, all the way up until now, and for the next few years, all of it has just come, every product has come from just one umbilical cord lining, from one red deer. Yeah. So we've got a lot of active ingredient, so it's incredibly sustainable as well as ethical as well, which is obviously incredibly important in this day and age now to have that as well. But yeah, that's kind of the general gist about where we get our stem cells from and how that all works.
Do you want to talk a little bit about stem cells? Because there's a lot of talk about stem cells recently, stem cells and exosomes and all of that. So do you want to kind of go into that a little bit and how that Calecim as well?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's totally a hot topic right now, right? Especially, and specifically exosomes. Wherever we go now, we just had the World Congress of Dermatology in Singapore. It was in July this year. It was a crazy week for us on our home turf, and literally every day, constantly, people the question we get asked is, how does your stuff compare to exosomes? And I think, which is kind of almost a frustrating thing for us, because we're like, well, there's exosomes inside of our active ingredient. We just didn't talk about it because we were like, well, it's just part of a big family of things going on in the active ingredient. But exosomes, I think people in their minds believe exosomes is its own entity, its own different thing. But the important thing to always remember when you're looking at exosomes is, where do exosomes come from? Right? If you look at any company or any brand that is talking about exosomes, a lot of them will say maybe MSC exosomes or ASC exosomes. And what that stands for is mesenchymal stem cell exosomes. What it stands for is adipose stem cell exosomes. So in reality, when we look at exosomes, what we need to think about is, where are they coming from? Because exosomes are a derivative of stem cells.
Right.
So what we really need to think about is, where is it coming from, and how does that compare? The question always is, what is the source? And that source is going to impact things. When you look at different sources out there, for example, like placenta. Placenta as a source, you got 50% of it is DNA, is the DNA of the mother. 50% of it is the child. So you're getting a bit of a mixture in terms of what kind of stem cells you're getting in terms of youthful versus adult. And on top of that as well, they only have sort of one type of stem cell, which is mesenchymal. Whereas with our active ingredient, with umbilical cord lining, you get both mesenchymal and epithelial stem cells. Now, what does that mean? They're just words right now. They just don't make much sense. So mesenchymal stem cells, what they do, right, is so essentially they will differentiate, right? So a stem cell, what it can do is it can differentiate into the body, into cells. Mesenchymal stem cells differentiate into the inner lining of our organs, right? And skin being an organ, we're differentiating into the dermal layer. So that's going to be your fibroblasts, your collagen, your elastin, your fibronectin, all of these things that sit within that dermal layer. So that means that we're going to differentiate into cells. It's going to essentially provide greater structure and form in that dermal layer to help hold things in place. And that's going to address fine lines, wrinkling, all of these things, right? Then you've got epithelial stem cells, and these differentiate into cells within that epidermal layer. And that's going to help with things like cell turnover. So that's going to make our skin look radiant and younger. It's going to really help, you know, if we're at home and we do some sort of at-home needling treatment, or if any of you guys go into an office and do a treatment, we apply our active ingredient afterwards, the serum in particular, then it's going to help to accelerate that recovery as well, with that turnover as well. So that's another key factor, is you've got different types of stem cells within there. But yeah, the idea to really understand is what is the source and how does it compare? You've got bone marrow, Wharton's jelly, adipose fat, placenta, skin, and umbilical cord lining as well.
Right. Okay.
That are out there. But it's always, like I said, it's always got to be what is the yield and what is that purity as well, and that comes down to the source itself.
Right. No, that's interesting. Thank you so much for like talking about that a little bit. Yeah.
No, I think it's important. You know, like I said, with medical grade stuff, it's important to understand all of this information.
Talk about that stuff and questions surrounding that, so that's good to know.
Absolutely, absolutely, totally agree.
Okay, do you want to go in and talk about the products a little bit? We'll go.
Yeah. Before I do that, what I want to do is just do a very, very simple layman's term explanation for what our active ingredient does to help skin and hair. This is a really simplified version for everybody to sort of digest and absorb. Essentially, as I like to use analogies. The analogy I use is essentially, if you imagine when we're born, our skin and our hair contain cells, right? And each individual one of those messaging signals, proteins, is like a member of an orchestra, okay? So the violin is going to be looking after, say, I don't know, inflammation. The piano is going to be looking at proliferating things like collagen or hyaluronic acid, whatever it is. They all have their own individual job, but most importantly, they all communicate with each other. And they communicate with each other to make that wonderful sound as an orchestra. And that's what happens when we're really, really young. As we get older, all that happens is members of that orchestra, they just start to disappear. And we still can have good skin and we can still have good hair, but it's just not quite as good as it was when we were younger. And it doesn't quite sound the same. Yep. What PTT6 does is it reintroduces the members of the orchestra that were present when we were younger to encourage adult skin to behave the way it once did when we were younger, to rejuvenate and regenerate in a youthful fashion. Right. So that's the kind of really simplified explanation about what our active ingredient is doing, essentially.
Right. And it does, because your products do that. Yeah. So
Exactly. It's always nice when it does what we say it does. That always makes a difference. It makes a difference for sure. Cool. All right, let's go through the products then. So which one should we start off with? Do you want to go through?
Let's start out. Let's start. Well, either the serum or multi-action. Which one do you want to start with? Let's
go with the serum first, because the serum is its own entity in a way. So let's go through the serum first, and then we can work through the rest. So, professional serum. So the professional serum, right, is quite often seen.
I actually opened a new one because I just finished my other one, but it looks like this.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So it's very much seen as sort of the hero product at Calecim, and the reason being it's great for marketing because it's adorable. The little pink ampule, everybody loves it. Yep. Yeah, it's just kind of brilliant for marketing. What somebody was saying, I think it was when I was in actually LA when we met up a few weeks ago. Somebody was like, you should have really jumped on the Barbie hype train when it was going on a few weeks ago. And we're like, yeah, we should have done that. But yeah, anyway, so the professional serum, what is it? So the serum basically is our hero product. It's essentially designed for two things. One is that it's designed for in-clinic post-procedure care. So it's used after an office treatment, right? Or an at-home treatment where you use it to reduce the downtime of the procedure. It's an 80% concentration of that PTT6. Right. And we apply it. Yeah, so it's it's the highest concentration along with our advanced hair system.
Right.
And the rest of it is honestly just made up of essentially just aqua and then a preservative. So it's all just the good stuff, essentially.
Yep.
And what we are using it for is to help to reduce the downtime of treatments and procedures. You know, when you're at home and you want to do your own sort of like microneedling treatment, you've got that redness for 2-3 days. You want to cut that down. You want to be able to do it and be straight back out at work the next day. You would use this serum after that kind of a treatment to reduce that downtime and also improve the results as well. Right? So we'll increase the expression of, say, elastin by 83%. HA by 83%, elastin by 56%. So we're also improving the results of what we're doing as well. Okay. So that's the first side, is using it after a treatment. And generally what we recommend is,
and you can use it, right? Like any aftercare treatment, like lasers, anything.
Absolutely anything. So if you're going into your doctor's office and you're going to go and have a laser treatment done, feel free to take one of these in and go and use it afterwards, or feel free to just use it at home. But yeah, we definitely say you can use it for anything.
It actually like speeds up the healing so much.
We say that you're going to reduce the downtime by around about 30 to 50%, right? So you're going to find if you do a treatment, you've got a 10-day downtime, you can pull that down to 5-6 days. You got a microneedling treatment where you've got like a 2-3 day downtime, you can pull that down to 1 day. So you're going to accelerate that recovery rate when using it for sure.
Yeah.
So that's using it in the office. Now, can you use it? And a lot of people ask, well, can you use it just at home as well as like a daily serum? So yeah, you absolutely can. I think the results of when you use the professional serum are really obvious after a treatment, right? Because you've got so much edema, erythema, you've got so much redness and sweat, right? But this,
so much.
Yeah, so it's really obvious. I mean, literally when you apply this after a treatment, you will see the results within 20-30 minutes. You will start seeing that redness decline significantly. However, on a day-to-day basis, whenever we're out and about, our skin goes through minor damage, right? When we're out and about, particularly in sunny areas, you know, in LA and in Singapore here, it goes through damage each day. So it is also an effective tool to be using at home at night. We only recommend you apply it at night, just in the evening, 1 pipette's worth, just to apply as your kind of base layer to basically help to restore any kind of damage that your skin has gone through throughout the day as well. So it can be used at home on its own. Also, you'll see the results most obviously with this product when you use it for post-procedure care. Primarily.
Okay, good to know.
Cool. So that is pretty much the professional serum, really. What I would say, the only thing I'll say is, if you're going to do it at home, I would recommend anything that's got a downtime of anything of up to, say, 2-3 days, 4 days, right, for an at-home treatment. I recommend that you use this 1 ampule per application. So you do, let's say you do a little derma roll or dermastam, apply half of an ampule, then you apply that remaining half within the next sort of 36 hours or so, within that time frame. You just kind of apply it maybe a few hours later, that evening, the following morning, whatever it may be.
Okay, good to know.
Cool. I think that's everything on the serum. Sweet. All right, then. What should we go on to next? Should we do the multi-action?
Multi-action, because I love the multi-action.
It's a good one.
So good.
It's a good one. It is a well-loved product. It is definitely the one that people are really kind of are drawn towards. You know, our marketing department described this product as a facelift in a jar. It's a really brilliant product. So what this is essentially an anti-aging skincare product. We call it a targeted corrective treatment product, suitable for any skin that's showing significant signs of aging. Essentially, one of the big benefits of this product, right? One of the big benefits is that, you know, people have, I think less so now, but maybe a few years ago, people used to have routines where it'd be like 15 steps to it, 20 steps to it. And then they'll have this serum, or that serum, or this serum, or that serum a lot of the time. And so what you actually find is that when you use this product, you can actually cut out a lot of things because it's already got inside of it the hyaluronic acid. It's already got the messaging signals that are going to do what you're looking for your vitamins, your X's, your Y's. So you can cut out a lot of steps by using this product in itself because it's got soluble collagen, albumin, fibronectin, elastin, hyaluronic acid, all things that kind of cover those areas. But essentially when you're applying it, morning and evening, after cleansing, before your moisturizer, it's really, really easy.
because it comes out, I mean, it's like in a cream start, but it's really not a cream. Like, it's not a moisturizer. People always think, oh, is it a moisturizer? But it's completely moisturizer.
Yeah.
You still recommend putting this on first, right? Like, serum.
Yeah. So I would recommend, so you go, if you're using this with the pink serum, you go pink serum first, and then you go multi-action cream afterwards, then the restorative hydration cream or just a moisturizer. I think this product, it is mildly moisturizing. So if you're in an area where
it soaks in completely, you know,
within seconds. But I mean, in a particularly sort of humid environment, let's say here in Singapore, where the humidity is just it's just so humid here all the time. And as a British person, it's just not ideal. It's not ideal. Being British and living in Singapore is just like, I'm asking for trouble constantly out here. I'm outside and it's always hot. It's always humid. But because it's mildly moisturizing, you could, depending if you've got an oily skin type, you might be able to get away with just using this on its own without a moisturizer, depending on your skin type and the environment.
Has like some hydration and stuff to it.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. The other thing I should mention as well is that for this particular product is less is more, right? So I did want to kind of demonstrate. So the amount that we recommend that you use is literally just a little pea-size amount, and then you simply just apply it on the 3 regions, and then that's it. Absolutely fine. So this product should, in reality, this should last anywhere from around about 3 to 4 months. Right, so you're getting some good usage out of it. This is great. Because it's early in the morning, I'm just doing my routine. I'm just doing my morning routine for you. It's all great. Basically, you recommend that you would apply this morning and evening, little pea-sized amounts. That's it, and you can see I've applied it. It's soaked in pretty much instantly.
That's what's so funny about it. It looks like a moisturizer, but it absorbs like a serum.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Then you would go on for other skincare products after that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we would love for people to then go on to our restorative hydration cream afterwards. But if you've got a moisturizer that you like, that you're really loyal to, cool, no worries. You can use that afterwards as well. I can see somebody's asking. A few people have asked about using the multi-action cream under the eyes. So let me just quickly address that. Yes, absolutely can. We are, however, though, and I'll mention this later on, we are bringing out a new product that will be targeting the eyes, but you can absolutely use this under the eyes, for sure.
I do that personally.
Yeah. It's where the eye cream came from that we're developing right now. Basically, people were like, hey, I've been using a multi-action cream under the eyes. Look at the results. And we're like, brilliant. Okay. And then we thought we'd go away and sort of reformulate, restructure.
But let's talk about what this does, because this is so this stuff is so firming to your skin. I did a video of this and it creates just such a youthful firming effect, you know, to age skin.
So what we basically, one thing that is a kind of benefit of this, and also the restorative hydration cream we'll go through in a second, both of them have built into it a transepidermal delivery system. So we're using liposome technology to basically encapsulate all of those proteins, right, that may not necessarily be able to penetrate through the dirt into the dermal layer. We're using that to transition all of those into that dermal layer and then basically pass around those youthful messaging signals to synthesize your production of your collagen, elastin, hyaluronic acid, fibronectin, all of these things that are basically going to then address that dermal layer and essentially sort of from the bottom up push things out and flatten things out and iron things out on the surface. And that is why you get that kind of firming, lifting effect that comes through when you use this particular product. For me, what I find the most obvious thing that comes through when you use this product is just the overall improvement in tone and texture as well, because it also helps to just sort of attack inflammation. You know, you think about what the serum is doing for post-procedure care. Now we're just basically applying that on a day-to-day basis, and that is helping to address any kind of inflammation that may arise and any kind of inflammation that may occur from being out and about or whatever it might be. So it's also helping to address that as well.
Right, because one thing that I've heard from a bunch of people that use this is that their post-acne like red marks go away so fast when they use this because it's taking all that inflammation in the skin.
Absolutely, absolutely, for sure. But I've got to say, in terms of the home care line, that product, the multi-action cream, is definitely a fan favorite.
Yeah, I Love that one.
Mm.
Love that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally get it. Pardon?
Anything else you want to talk about or mention with that one before going to the next?
I think that's everything. Key messages for that anti-aging product. Apply it morning and evening after a cleanser before moisturizer. Should last around about 3 months. You'll start to see results around about sort of 3 weeks in. Continue to see improvements for up to 3 months, and then you're maintaining results and getting kind of little add-ons over after that 3-month period as well.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
I mean, the reason why it's good to cover that for a little bit is because that product and the restorative hydration cream, that a lot of the explanation is kind of similar. What we just need to understand is what the difference between these two are and what we're trying to address. So whilst the multi-action cream is your anti-aging, your restorative hydration cream is your moisturizing product. Okay, so this has got within it even more hyaluronic acid that is derived from the stem cells. It's got things like niacinamide in it. It's got things like tocopherol in it. So all things that are going to help to retain moisture and encourage moisturization within the skin as well. So when you're using these together, you would simply go multi-action cream followed by your restorative hydration cream as well.
This one right here. Yep.
Yeah. And you would apply it. You would apply it simply same as I mentioned before. Literally little pea-sized amounts. Again, I get to do my little application. So yeah, little pea-sized amounts. So same again, little pea-sized amounts.
Yep.
3 areas, and that's it. Really, really simple. This product also has a grapefruit extract that has been added to it as well. So it's got a really lovely smell to it. So the multi-action cream doesn't have a scent added to it, whereas this particular product does. So yeah,
very light.
Very light. Very, very light. Again, with this product, you apply it, and then literally within a matter of seconds, you can move on to your next step, which is obviously another big benefit. You don't have to faff around waiting for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You can apply and then get on to your next step afterwards. That's absolutely fine as well. Cool. But you see what I mean? It's kind of simple. When you go through the multi-action cream, then you're like, right, so it's got, because they've got the transepidermal delivery system built into them, but restorative hydration cream as well. It kind of is a nice, simple explanation. So multi-action cream is anti-aging. Restorative hydration is moisturization.
Yeah. Yep. Perfect.
Simple.
Yeah.
Simple and easy.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go on to the next one, which is my personal favorite, which is the Recovery Night Complex. Yeah. I think you knew I was going to say that. So the Recovery Night Complex, I love this one. The reason why I love this one is not just because of the fact that it's actually multi-purpose. You can use it both at home, after a treatment, if you've had like a really aggressive laser done. You know, on day 3, day 4 of that recovery time, you apply this. It's a gel consistency, just a mask. You apply it at night, and it will further help to soothe and calm the skin. Because of what it's also got is things like aloe vera, carmescensine, betaine, glycerin. It's got niacinamide as well. So all things that are going to sort of soothe and calm the skin. So I use it, as you can probably all tell from the video. I am very pale. I'm very white, and again, living in Singapore, it's just disastrous. I'm outside, and I'm obviously wanting to constantly reapply sunscreen. But you know, if I'm playing sport and I'm playing a match or something, within 10 minutes it's gone, and then I finish, and I'm like, brilliant, I'm now burned. That's great. But I will use this. I will apply this at night, and then overnight it will calm that down, it will soothe that down, and that burn will gone, or the appearance of that burn will have gone the following day itself. So you use it for sort of distressed, dehydrated skin. You can use it on long haul flights as well. A lot of people sort of, you know, you get on the plane, put it on, and you can wear it for the rest of the journey, and then you get off and you feel like you've been going first class the whole way.
Okay, so that's at night, irritated, stressed skin.
Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily have to use this every night, you know. You can just sort of use it like once a week, maybe on a Sunday when you're around the house. You can apply it mid-afternoon. You can wash it off before you go to bed, or you can just apply it at night, end of your routine, and then you hold everything in place, wash it off in the morning, and then you just in the morning just wash it off. It doesn't really get sticky or anything like that, so it's fine for you to just apply and then just wash it off in the morning.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
Cool. So that's my personal favorite one, is the Recovery Night Complex. I'm not going to demonstrate how to put that one on, because I've got a whole day ahead of me, and you only apply that at night. It's the same with the serum. I was thinking about it. I was like, do I demonstrate how to put the serum on? And I was like, then I'm going to just look at, like, looking at myself. I'm going to just look ridiculous. So I thought I'll avoid that. I'll avoid that one. Cool. Then let's go through the pigment solution. So the pigment solution is essentially a reformulated, restructured version of of PTT6. It's also got additional ingredients in there that are going to help to attack pigmentation, things like glutathione, alpha-arbutin, sodium ascorbyl phosphate, linoleic acid, tranexamic acid. We've basically taken well-known ingredients for pigmentation and then incorporated that into a restructured version of our PTT6 that is highlighting growth factors and cytokines that will address pigmentation. Okay, so we've identified, for example, let's say fibroblast growth factors. They really helped with regards to the skin repair process to synthesize the production of collagen and elastin. So highlight those, ensure we have an effective skin repair process. That's going to hopefully transition into a lower likelihood of pigmentation development.
Honestly, this formula has everything your skin needs to fade. Yeah. It is amazing. The formula, I just love it.
Yeah.
I think it's so.
Yeah, the way that we look at it is like it's a multi-technology approach. We're basically combining everything together and incorporating it all into one big happy family, one big team. So you use this morning and night. You can use it for anybody on here. You know, it's the end of the summer, right? So some people, I guess in LA, you don't really have it's always summer for you guys. Same it is here for us anyway. It's the same every day for us. But you know, once you come towards the end of the summer, this is really effective because you can use it if you're going in for a kind of in-clinic treatment. You can use it prior and you can use it post to sort of further enhance those results as well as using it at home as a daily applicator. But this one, morning and evening.
Day and night. Would you do multi-action first and then this?
No, so I would go this first. So you go. So if you're going in if you're using all of the range, you would go serum, pigment, multi-action, restorative hydration cream, and then recovery night complex. Okay. The serum and the recovery night complex, we would only do it the evening. Everything else can be done morning and night.
Okay. Yep. Perfect.
Cool. So yeah, pigment solution, you'll see results around about day 35 start to kick in, and then you'll usually get those optimal results around about day 90.
Perfect.
Cool. I think that's everything on the home care. And so we can kind of finish off by going through the advanced hair system. Yes. Yeah. So advanced hair system. Look, I think for everybody listening, I think it's important to know that I feel like with hair loss, I was talking about this with an Australian partner yesterday, and we were talking about the fact that, you know, about 5-10 years ago, hair loss was kind of almost taboo. People didn't want to talk about it. People were embarrassed about it. Whereas I feel like now it's a very open discussion, and everybody is out there and kind of happy to openly say, look, I am suffering from hair loss, and I'm looking for some options as to how best to treat it. The problem with the hair loss market is that it's a very dissatisfied market. Right? There's not a huge amount out there that people feel that they can fully rely on, that they're confident on, that they feel is cost effective, that they feel is effective in general as well. The options out there have been fairly limited. So we basically reformulated our active ingredient to highlight some key components for addressing the hair growth cycle and how we can improve that essentially. And the way that it works, there's 3 steps to it. Number 1, is it's reintroducing the youthful messaging signals that's going to encourage our hair follicles to behave the way it did when it was younger. So that's going to help to dormant hair follicles become active again. And it's going to help hair follicles that may be becoming depigmented to start becoming pigmented again because of those youthful messaging signals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very, very cool that that's happening. So we're not just addressing hair restoration and bringing and stopping and halting hair loss. We're also actually bringing, in some cases, not in all, but in some cases, we're finding that you're getting that improvement in pigmentation as well, which is very exciting. So that's the first thing, is those youthful messaging signals. The second thing is we're increasing the number. At the bottom of a hair follicle, there's this things called dermal papilla cells. And what they do is that they dictate the messaging signals of a hair follicle. The more of them there are, the more effective our hair growth will be. And so what we found is that we're actually increasing the presence of those by about 24% when you apply PTT6 onto it. And then lastly, what we're finding is that you're getting a significant reduction of inflammation on the scalp as well. And inflammation is the bane of all of our lives, right? You know, skin, hair, bones, joints, everything. So the less amount of inflammation we can have on the scalp, the more impactful and effective our hair growth cycle is going to be as well. So that's how it's working in essence.
So how does the actual product, what do you do then exactly?
Yeah, so that is, if I'm honest, with this product, that is the big thing that I think we want everybody on here to understand. How do we actually do it? Who am I suitable for this? And how do we kind of incorporate all that?
Right.
So the first thing to understand is that what we've got to really understand is what stage of hair loss are we at, and then what kind of a treatment protocol do I need to go through, okay? So if we're slightly further along the hair loss scale, and for ladies, what you can refer to is this thing called the Ludwig scale. So that's Ludwig, and it goes from type 1 to type 3. And you can see, if you just Google it, you'll see the different types of stages and where that fits in. For men, it's what's called the Norwood scale, right? So what we're generally finding is that for men, we can't really treat anything above 5. We're going to have to look at alternative methods, right? For ladies, we might be able to do 3.1, but most often we're going to be addressing type 1 and type 2 hair loss. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
What category am I in, and can this work for me?
Right.
The second thing within that is, what treatment protocol do I go through? So you get this box, okay? So this is the box that it comes in. Inside of the box, what you will get is that you get 6 ampules, all right? Oh, there we go. 6 ampules, okay? Falling out, too excited. So you get 6 ampules, and that those 6 ampules, that's one treatment course. It's a 6-week course that you go through, okay? When you purchase this as well, what you will also receive is a nice little dermostamp, and then you will also receive a little packet of alcohol swabs as well. So it's really, really easy. All you basically do is that you take your dermostamp out of the box, you get the alcohol swabs. I'll demonstrate it now nice and easily so that people can understand how we do this. And you simply disinfect the swab on the, disinfect the stamp, sorry, on the swab. Then you stamp the treatment area. You apply half of the ampule, or a quarter of the ampule, sorry, and then you stamp again, and then that's basically it. And you do that twice per week. Okay, so that's the initial
area that you need.
Yeah, so for women, we're generally going to be going down the parting line. If you look at the Ludwig scale, you'll see that all of it is kind of the parting line. You'll find that it might shoot off at times, but generally we're going to go down there, or just anywhere that we're sort of targeting in general. So that's basically it. For men, very often for men, we're going to be targeting up in this area up here, right? So we're going to be addressing up in this area, and then on the crown as well, up at the back. So we basically then would stamp a little bit on either side, or wherever the treatment area is needed. Then after that, you apply a quarter of an ampule onto the treatment area. Sorry, half of an ampule. Sorry, I keep getting mixed up. Half of an ampule onto the treatment area. You then stamp again. And then you would do that twice per week for a period of 6 weeks.
Okay.
Depending on severity of the hair loss, you might need to do 12 weeks. So for men, we always recommend you do 12 weeks straight up. But for ladies, we say start at 6 weeks. If you've got more severe hair loss, you might need to do a 12-week program.
Okay.
Once you've then done that, you move on to maintenance. And the maintenance after that is where you would purchase another box, and you would continue to do that once per week for a period of 3 months. Okay. So you do 6 weeks, followed by a 3-month maintenance program. Okay, so instead of doing it twice per week for 6 weeks, you're doing it once a week for 3 months. That's it.
Yep.
And that's it. Pretty simple. Now, I've got to be honest and upfront with this product, though. You know, you've got to recognize when you start using this, this is going to be addressing. This is going to be something that it's not just going to be one and done, 6 weeks, 12 weeks maintenance, and then you're going to live for 100 years with great hair. You're going to have to keep an eye on it. Yeah. So you'll need to rotate. Maybe once you've done that 3 months, you might do another 3-month maintenance. You might go back to do another 6 weeks, but you can kind of just see how you go and see how you feel, and where your results are, and figure it out from there, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Gauge it from there. So yeah, that's the advanced hair system.
Awesome. I mean, everything is so amazing. Should we take some questions from people?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's build some questions. We've been doing a lot of talking, so I think we can do a little bit of listening. I kept thinking in my head, I was like, we'll do this for like 20, 30 minutes. And then I was like, I know we're just going to keep chatting for ages. So
forever. So you want to take a couple questions from people?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if there, I'll just kind of scroll back, see if there's any questions.
Yeah.
that have popped up as well. Okay, somebody just started saying they're using the hair loss serum, which is great. That's great to hear. Are these products safe for people who have had skin cancer? So yeah. So recovered skin cancer, yeah, it's fine. It's fine to use, right? So it's absolutely fine to use. Active skin cancer, we do not recommend. Just like most products that are out there, but recovered is absolutely fine for you to use these products for sure.
Okay.
Are these sort of products suitable for rosacea skin? So, kind of a gray area. That is where we start to move into the realm of off-label usage. Now, that being said, we think about what the causes of rosacea are, and we think about, inflammation, and then you think about what we've just talked about what our active ingredient is doing to reduce inflammation. We have seen people that have used the multi-action cream, restorative hydration cream for rosacea, and they've seen good results. However, I have to be clear and upfront, and I do have to say that is an off-label usage technically. But we have seen examples of people that have used it, and they've seen some reasonably good results with that. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I have rosacea-prone skin, and I've noticed for me, it helps to just keep my skin even tone, not bring out redness, take down redness, all of that.
Yeah.
For me personally, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to think about what is rosacea, what is happening there, and think about what the active ingredient does, and then you can kind of put two and two together. But yeah, I guess for the purposes of keeping us safe, we have to make sure that it's.
Hey, it works for me.
Yeah, absolutely. You can say it. You can say what you can say it. But yeah, I have to be very careful.
Yes.
A lot of people asking if it's safe to use for skin cancer, so I'm glad we covered that. Can you use it with retinol? Yep, totally, absolutely fine. No problem at all. So if you're using retinol, I'll probably go with retinol first, and then you can go on to your multi-action cream after that. If you're using a professional serum with that, I would probably say that you go serum, retinol, multi-action cream. But yeah, you can absolutely use with retinol with any product. You can use it with any kind of product that is out there. It's absolutely fine to incorporate with ours as well. There's nothing out there that we don't say to use it with.
Yep, perfect.
Talked about eyelids, which is good. So you can use multi.
The eye cream.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So just whilst I scroll through to make sure we haven't missed anything. But yeah, so essentially, some of you that are joining from the Calecim side, you may have heard me mention in previous lives and previous discussions that yeah, the latest product we are going to be bringing out is an eye cream. So we are planning to bring it out, I think, in the next couple of months. It's all ready to go and is out there, but we just want to give it a couple of months of doing a little bit more data gathering. So what we generally do with our products, because we want to make sure that we prioritize and look after a lot of our doctors as well, is we get it available for doctors and medical professionals, and we get some data from them, get some before and after, so that when it becomes available on a grand scale, everybody can go on the website and not just take our word for it. You can take the word of medical professionals from around the world that have been using that particular product. So that is going to be coming out in a couple of months. And I think what we'll probably do, Brianna, is maybe we could do another kind of chat like this where we could talk about that product. And we can go through that. So yeah, we'll hopefully be bringing that out later this year. It's been a long time in the making, that product, because COVID got in the way, and then we were like, right, and we take our time with making products, just how we were talking about with yourself and Trology, when we were met up a few months ago. You want to make sure you get the right the right formulation. You want to make sure that you're creating something that you feel confident and comfortable with. It's the same with our team as well, with our products. So we want to make sure that we're bringing stuff out that isn't just thrown out there for you to use, but it's stuff that we know actually physically works. So we want to get that right for sure. I saw you've got are you launching a new product in a few days as well, yeah?
I am. My vitamin C comes out on Monday.
Nice. Very exciting. Yeah, I saw that when I was going through. I was like, exciting. Yeah. Perfect. I understand what you're doing. Okay, perfect. Okay, cool. I think we've covered everything on here. I think all of these questions are all good.
Good, but we'll definitely have to chat again when the eye cream comes out, and we can really go over all that too.
Yeah, Absolutely, absolutely. We can cover all of that. I think there's one other thing that somebody's asking about the advanced hair system. So with the advanced hair system, with the usage of it, it is something to point out that dependent on the severity of your hair loss, you may have to, dependent on time, you may have to just kind of give it a bit of time for it to start working because of the severity. So, you know, some people are going to have to go for 6 weeks, some people are going to go for 12 weeks, depending. So what I would do is have a look at the Norwood Ludwig scale. If you find that you're kind of on the latter end of that scale, you're going to probably need to give it until that sort of 10, 12-week program before you start expecting to see results, okay?
Right.
If you're in the earlier stage, you might get a little bit sooner, but we always want to just make sure that we complete the full course before we start thinking, okay, well, why isn't this working? I had one of my friends who I gave it to, and after like 3 weeks, he stopped using it because he was like, I'm not seeing anything. I was like, well, yeah, you got to give it time. You got to give it time.
Hair restoration, it can take a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're not just going to apply it and then wake up like Rapunzel and be like, wow, look at my long, amazing hair. I look like Brad Pitt. Yeah, exactly. It's going to take a little bit of time. So yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. I think that's everything.
Well, I'm so excited we got to chat today, Ross.
Thank you so
too. On and kind of going over the brand and the science, because it's so interesting. You guys have amazing science and technology behind your brand.
Thank you.
Yeah. That you could come on here and kind of talk about it.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad as well, and we'll, you know, hopefully it's the first but not the last of what we're going to be doing moving forward. So thank you for taking the time out, and we'll catch up again soon when the eye cream comes out. Good luck with your launch on Monday.
Thank you, I appreciate
that. No problem at all. No problem at all. Always got to support each other with all of these, so no problem. Good luck with that, and we'll speak again soon.
Sounds good. Bye, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Brianna. Take care. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening. Bye.